Belinda and HarperAudio Australia present this unabridged recording of A Snowy River Summer, written by Stella Quinn and read by Fiona Macleod. For my listeners, thank you for your support. My books would be very lonely without you in their lives. Chapter 1. Damon John's life imploded in a red brick archway of a building that had once housed convicts. He might have recalled more specifics about the building's history if he could think, but thinking wasn't happening. Nor, and this was the problematic thing, was breathing. The voice in his head that had been plaguing him these last few months started up. Always an expert witness, always an emotionless tone, no matter how horrendous the topic, and always a grim outcome. Sometimes, like now, the expert was focused solely on Damon. When I conducted an autopsy of the man found collapsed in a brick archway within Sydney's historic Hyde Park barracks, I found evidence of asphyxia, including submucosal hemorrhagic petechiae and displacement of the... Damon pressed his forehead into the dull brick and willed the expert witness, who he'd nicknamed Dr. Gloom, to do him and the world a favour and piss right off. Rude, yes. Necessary, also yes. He felt dizzy, sick. His heart was pounding like it had grown legs and a tail and turned into a racehorse. His lungs were made of barnacles, and his hands, when he brought them up to rub his face, had developed a tremor that no one could ever see. He forced hot Sydney summer air into the pain pit where his lungs used to be, and then just as urgently forced it out. He had only a few minutes to pull himself together and sort out this new and unwelcome physical development. Dr. Gloom was annoying, but he'd been ignoring him, mostly, for months. Damon was blessed, or cursed, depending on the context, with a memory that refused to forget anything at all. So, having a running commentary in his head of the many, many grim cases he'd worked on hadn't seemed too nuts. But this new thing, this heart-racing, barnacle in the lungs thing, he could barely stand, let alone ignore it, which was kind of a major deal problem, on account of the fact that on the 11th floor of the blockish, beige concrete and glass high-rise behind him, a judge and jury and witnesses and court officials and correction services officers and spectators were right this very minute gathering for the verdict of a trial, and everyone was expecting to see Damon Johns stride on in there like he was confidence incarnate. Because, of course, that's what he'd been for some years now, a barrister to be reckoned with, a force, a powerhouse, a legend at the bar even, if he read some of the tripe dished up by the court reporters in the Daily News, which he did, avidly. So what had changed? Why this case? Why now? He didn't want to think of the accused's testimony and the Crown's cross-examination. But there they were, in his head, memorised perfectly. You were jealous, in fact. No. Your mother, in your own words, abandoned you. So you bought a weapon. No, you drove to her home. It wasn't her home, it was her boyfriend's place, and you bludgeoned her with... Objection! Damon lifted his head from the bricks of the archway and then wished he hadn't. He was clammy, and he did not feel well at all. And how on earth was he going to get himself back to court in this state? The scratch of a match made its way through the rushing in his ears, and the stink of nicotine fouled up what little oxygen he was getting.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?